I live on my own in my little place. And I sing to him, I talk to him. I'm sure people think I've got people in the house, but no, I'm talking to Swami. And as soon as Baba saw us, he came down from the mandir and right over to us and said, New Zealand, come now. So we did. The three of us ladies got up and two saw us in the men's side, so we all went in. And he sat down. I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. I tell you, a big shocker. He said to Mata Betty and me and a lot of us, why do the Maoris have that haka? Not good, you know. Too much anger. Tell my Maori people, no anger. Show love. Love is the best weapon you can use. Believe it not, a monkey came down and landed on me here. And it opened my mouth and took what banana I had. And he took the banana off my hand, and I had my hand then, and I had my hand behind his head, you see. And I'm saying, what lovely eyes you've got. And I was talking to it, I said, I think I know who you are. I think I know who you are. I said, well, I'm not scared of you. Then it flew away. Well, it jumped off when all my bananas had gone, you see. Well, a lot of people said you shouldn't do that because they're dangerous and they'll scratch. I said, well, they didn't scratch me. But I felt as if there was something with that monkey, you see. So in we went and we were put right in front, you see. And Swami came along and then he walked away. Then he stopped and he walked right back to me again, to us. And he looked at me and he said, I love bananas, and walked off. True. It is you who is in my lonely heart. That one. Stay with me, oh Sai, my only love.
Welcome to part 2 of the exceptional spiritual stories from New Zealand sage Kura Irirangi Rangi Baker, otherwise known simply as Kura, which means, when translated, our treasure from above. In this final part of a 2-part series, Kura recalls her numerous encounters and lessons learned from the hands of holy man Sri Sathya Sai Baba. Welcome to Souljourns. This video was recorded in 2006 and is provided to us by the Sathya Sai organization of Wellington, New Zealand.
There was myself, Mata Betty, and Dolly, my sister-in-law. And then we took a Cook Islander called Tour. Now we were all going over, we're crying our eyes out because we're going to complain about this tour leader, this healer. So we go, and as soon as Baba saw us, he came down from the mandir and right over to us and said, New Zealand, come now. So we did. The three of us ladies got up and two saw us in the men's side, so we all went in. And he sat down. I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. So, of course, he told us about this person. And then he looked at us and he said, there are 3 Matas in New Zealand. Mata Betty, Mata Kura, and Mata Dolly. Now, the 3 of us sat there. And when we got out of that interview room, we toyed with that idea. And I turned around and I said, we have to earn that. We have to earn it. And I looked at Mata Betty and I said, you know, Betty, she was beginning to take people over. You see, she said to me, well, I'm going to take people over to Baba. I said, you will earn it. And she said to me, why don't you? And I said, well, I'll see. I'll see. I feel I have to earn it. It's like the photo that Baba created for us. It's in my purse. Somebody asked if he could, no, for a camera, that's right. Baba said, who need camera? I give you something. And he gave us a photo each of him. You see, 19 photos out of here. And he said, that is your passport to God. I turned around that night and said, we have to earn that. We have to earn it. It's all very fine sitting back and saying, oh, well, I'm all right, I've got a passport to God. It's not that at all. You have to earn it. You see. Well, Mata Betty has earned both of them. She earned the right in every way. There wasn't a time when you could say that woman was healthy, because she wasn't. When I first went over with her, I helped her. She could hardly walk. And Baba said to her, when the time is ready, I will tell you when to have operation. Then he looks at me and he says, you have an ulcer. Well, I'm not, yes, you have an ulcer. No doctor, no hospital, I fix. Well, I had a tiny little pain there, and I thought, okay, I'll see Doubting Thomas. I thought, okay, I'll see if I've got this ulcer. Because he told me that in 84. And believe it or not, they made me swallow whatever to go down here. And the doctor says, I wish you'd open your eyes and see this ulcer you've got. And I did, and here's this big thing going like this. And I couldn't talk to him because I had that down my mouth. But you see, Baba was right. I did have it. I've still got the ulcer. But it's benign. You see? Doubting Thomas thought, oh, well, we'll find out. But I'm sure he's forgiven me for that. But I've still got that ulcer and it doesn't worry me. He said no doctors, no hospital. And when Mata Betty was ready to have her hip operation, she had 2 of them done. Well, then she had other things wrong with her and she ended up with cancer of the liver. So she was never a healthy lady, and yet she took time out to take people over there on an average of twice a year. There were times when she'd do it 3 times a year. You see? Took the youth over. And that's mind-boggling. The youth will always remember that. I think she took them over twice, or if not 3 times, over to Baba. In all that time, from 1981 till, when did she die last year? So the year before. So that would be 2003. Going all the time over to India. And I went with her 6 times. With her. And each time, of course, I've had 10 interviews with Swami. And each time I had an interview, the last interview, I just couldn't accept the fact that I was on my own. I'd lost my husband, 56 years, that's a lifetime. And I just couldn't bear it, the fact that I was on my own. And so Mata said, I'll take you over. So we went to Brindavan, actually. Interview. Go in, and he saw me, and he says, I have husband. I have husband. And I looked at him, and what did I say? Swami, confusion, confusion, confusion. That's what I said. Yes, yes, yes. And when we went out, Mata Betty was the leader, of course, and what did he say to her? How old are you, Betty? She said 75. And he says, ha, 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 I'm older no, you're older than me, you see, and of course laughed and walked out. Then I had some bits and I held on to it. And he put his hand right over my hand and he said, like a mother, I have husband, not worry. I will talk to you later. And then, of course, I didn't walk out. I think I flew out. I don't know how I went out. And that night we stayed in the room with Marta, you see, and one of the ladies turned around and said, we're going to have another interview because Swami's going to talk to Kura later. And Marta looked at me and she said, we won't have another interview, will we? And I said, I don't know. And she said, he talks to you not here. I know what he means. I said, I know. Because I do have the inner voice. I sat up all night last night, you know, until I heard him say to me, you mustn't worry, not worry, I'll be with you. That's the inner voice. Marta had it as well. And you know, those are the things that make me cling even more. You know, it just makes, and that's what made Marta Betty cling more. I mean, he mothered her as well. One year she came back and she rang me up and she said to me, Kura, I have a message from Swami and I'm going to tell you over the phone, but I'm going to make it quite public to the people. But I'll tell you first. And I said, what is it? Swami says, after bhajans, before you finish, sing Soham. Soham? I said, is that right? And she said, he wants everybody in New Zealand, the centres, before they finish off, sing Soham. She said, and I know how it's done because he taught me how to sing it. Now I believe that. He taught us how to sing the Gayatri Mantra, Baba did. And you know why? We were fortunate enough to go with 3 boys, and he looked at New Zealand and he said, New Zealand, do you know Gayatri Mantra? None of us knew. I teach. So away he goes, Om, boom, boom, come on, sing it. And we sang it. He sang it to us about 3 times, and we knew it just like that. That was absolutely fantastic. Now that was the very first time we learnt the Gayatri Mantra. See, that was in 1981 when we didn't really know much then. You see, and that visit in 81, we had 5 interviews. We did. That was when he spoke Māori to us. Yes, well, we went into the interview room and he sits us down and he looks at us and, "Kei te pewhi a koe," and we all just about collapsed. Now, come on. The Māori language out in India? And so my husband answered him back and said, "Kei te pai Swami." Oh, good, 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 good. Then he spoke Dutch to the Dutch people. There was about 3 nationalities together. And so, you know, spoke that language, and there was another one here, Russian perhaps, and he spoke Russian. You see? Telling us, showing us that he knows everything. You see? I think my husband was very proud of that. He said, well, at least I answered him in Māori. I said, yes, you did. Well, we were all so shocked we didn't know what to do. You see, he knows everything. But many, many interviews I have had, you know, there's been learning points, always learning points, you know. Always remember, he said, never be afraid. Always remember, I'm there with you. New Zealand, he says, you have a volcano. This is in 1995 when I was over there. You have a volcano. Not good. Mururu Atoll creates that. They're bombing up and they're bombing down here, he says, and of course it's upsetting everything. And then he turns around and says, you tell New Zealand not to eat the fish, because all that uranium and all the other stuff is in the water, and the fish is eating it. Not good. Not good. Very, very bad. The water is polluted with all that the Mururu Atoll is doing today. It's in the water. And the fish has got it as well. You see, he told us all that. But he said, not worry New Zealand with volcano. I am God, you're God. Look within. Never be afraid. Your country is quite safe compared to other countries. True. That's the very words he said to us. Your country is safer than all the other countries. Not good. And you see what's happening today. And it's only the tip of the iceberg. Because I reckon it'll go even worse. A lot of people are blaming God for this. It's not his fault. Man has done all this. Man has done all this. Has ruined this beautiful world that he has created for us. With all the nuclear weapons and everything else that's going, it's going against him. People are not happy now. They want to investigate up in the sky. Why? They're not happy with the world that God has created for them. I'd hate to think what would happen in the future, although there is the golden age and there'll be a difference then. You know, I had the youth as well here. I took the youth, there was about 9 of them here. What a wonderful year that was, you know. Baba came to me in a dream and he said to me, I'm happy, happy, happy. You look after the youth. They are tomorrow's people. He told Mata Betty that as well. He's relying on the youth to help sort out this very troubled world that we've got now. And I hope that in the future that we will see some results of Baba's plan. And he wants us to help him with that plan. And I hope we do. We're only a little country, and I don't know how many devotees we have. But you know, when we say the 21 Ohms, and that radiates out in the atmosphere, you just imagine all the devotees in New Zealand spread from one end of this country to the other, all saying our 21 Ohms. You know, that's clearing the atmosphere as well. But we need to do it all the time. We need to do it. Those Ohms, when we say it, must come right from here, right out into the atmosphere. That's the way he tells us. Om is a very important thing. Come from here, right out into the atmosphere. Big help. There's a lot of negativity and nasties up there in the world, up in the atmosphere. And it's up to the likes of you and I and all his devotees to help him do that by singing our Ohms. Not, oh no, bring it right up. Let it come right through, right out into the atmosphere. That's how he taught Mata Betty and her group how to say the Oms. Mean every bit of it. Use the energy to bring it out, and it will help clear that atmosphere out there. He said, with everything that's going on in the world, all the nasties, all the negative thoughts, all the horrible things that are going, where do you think all that's going to? It's going out there, way out in the atmosphere, lurking around up there. And it's the likes of you and I that's going to break that, just by singing our Oms and meaning every bit of it. Let it out and clear that atmosphere. You know, when you go to the ashram, no wonder we fret and want to go all the time, because we never feel the same here as we do there. And why? Because all those many thousands of people are of the one mind. And those Oms that we say. And why do you think the birds teeter and carry on up in the trees when we say Oms? And the eagles that are up there. We saw an eagle's nest once when we were in Purapati. And all those lovely birds, and those crows even sometimes, they show their appreciation by us clearing the atmosphere up there. You see? And I know there's many, many thousands of people there, but even a few in New Zealand, even here, like when we said our Oms, those Oms went out into the atmosphere and they do their work as well. You know, when he said that was another lesson that I heard from him. Every time you go into that interview room, he knows what to say. He knows what we want. He knows what is necessary for the country that you dwell in. I tell you a big shocker. He said to Mata Betty and me and a lot of us, why do the Māoris have that haka? Not good, you know. Too much anger. Not good. Don't want anger. Why not have haka happy? Happy ones. Not anger. And you know, I looked at Marta and she looked at me and I thought, yes, well, you know, you can't contradict God. Come on. So we got out of that interview room and I said, you know, he is right. Kamate, kora. We're not going to die. You see, with anger. Not good. You can have haka, pleasant ones. Have happy ones. Nice. Never used to be. Anger. No good. Tell my Maori people, no anger. Show love. Love is the best weapon you can use. Divine love. You just think of the world if we all went like that. There wouldn't be any anger, there wouldn't be any war. And I hope the golden age will bring that about. But I think the nuclear weapons is the thing that has to be destroyed. And when I saw the late Dave Longy, I remember that. When he went to England and talked about their nuclear weapons, I think we're the only country that hasn't got it. I hope we never do. I hope this country will remain how it is. Safe, The only terrible thing we've got is angry people. You know? I think we've got one little caterpillar spider that could bite you, and you have to go out to the beach to see that. How children can play in the forest here and not worry. We have got a safe country. And I'm hoping the nuclear weapons don't come into this. God said that. We've got a lovely country. A safe country. So, you know, I'd hate to think of anything else other than peace and harmony. And you know, the talk I gave in Auckland was to do with people separating us. You know, the Indian people, the Maori people. No. Baba's people, Baba's children. He doesn't look at this, he looks at this. We're all on equal terms there, you know. You know that. It doesn't matter how black you are on the outside, the light is pure white within you. We're all on level pegging there. And the sooner we all realise that, the better. We do. But there are an awful lot that don't. And that's what's so sad. But all we can do is look above it and carry on. I'm going 82. I will be next week, actually. I'll be 82. And am I pleased that I've come along this road? I'm not surprised, really, because of the upbringing I have had. I've always had that spiritual upbringing. And I'm pleased that I've found God and that I'm able to share Him with everybody. And I really would love to see more Māori people in. And I'd like to speak about that now. There's a lot of Māori people that come in. And I think they feel because they can't give up their meat, fish and poultry that they can't be bothered. You know, and I'd like to say right now that that's not the case at all. Baba loves everybody, regardless of whether they eat meat, fish, poultry or whatever they do. He still loves them. But if you love back in return and know His principles and know what He stands for, divine love, you automatically want to give up what you've given, what meat, fish and poultry, drinking it. You want to do that because that's the only way you know you can get the real, true benefit of the God that lives on this earth. That's what counts. Our Māori people don't go into it long enough, you know. They think, oh, I can't be bothered. No, and then they walk off. I'm begging them, don't do that. Stick there. Find His principles. Find what He wants. And realise it's for your good, not His, for your good. And you want to do it. You want to give up smoking. And you won't need anything to help you give up smoking. You'll give it up, like my husband and I did. We used nothing. We both said, all right, we'll take it a day at a time. And we both gave it up, just like that. A lot of prayers, mind you. A lot of prayers. A lot of chanting. But if that's what we did to give it up, it's been worth it. Drinking was no problem to me, my husband. No trouble. The hardest thing I found to give up, and be honest with you, was oysters. Oysters. I used to sneak them. But I worked right where I had to prepare raw fish and all this, you see. And one day I was sitting there in a world of my own, and I'm pulling these oysters out and I'm looking at it and no, I'm not going to eat you. No, I'm not going to eat you. But I put one in my mouth. I put 3 in my mouth. And went and got as sick as anything. Brought it all up. And that's the last time I've eaten oysters. But it took a while. All the rest was easy. All other than the pork bones, of course, and I wouldn't give you thank you to go back to anything like that. I'm very happy with my life. I'm very happy. Today I have these aches and pains. I have cancer of the bone. I have arthritis. I have an ulcer. I have a weak heart. So what? So what? My body belongs to God. I'm just busy doing something else. I always say, all right, Swami, I don't care. You're the boss. If you want me to go through this, I will. It's no good ballyhooing over it. But I'd like to do whatever I want to do to help him. I said to him, Swami, if there's anything more you want me to do, I will do it. I've done it all from Featherston. Yes. Yes, I went through a lot there. But he wanted me to go there to straighten that lot up. And I did. In the end, they knew me for what I really was. And when I left, my word, I was amazed. But why be amazed? Doing God's work. But I think, with all the trials, and going to court, and I spread him in the papers as well because everybody thought he was everything under the sun. I called the Wairarapa Times. Now you'll do this, you'll do that, that's not right, this is not right, and all this. True. I had a lot to do with the IHCs in Featherston. And I had a lovely girl, she had Down syndrome. And she was about 50. And I used to go and get her and let her spend the night with me. And, I just loved her. But then I used to have all the IHCs every Friday morning and do painting, and I used to take time out. That was my Siva. Okay. Anyway, she died this year. And the IHC in Masterton wanted me to go and give a eulogy on her because they knew that I loved her so much. And so when I lost my husband, Madeline sent me a lovely piece that Swami had given to Lucas Raleigh on death. You see, Baba motivates again. So I read that to the service with this lady. And then I ended up by saying, God sends these IHC people down to test us, to see what we're going to do about those people that are afflicted like that. And I said 70 people that are in here at this funeral have passed because we chose to look after people like that. Everything is done for a reason. And that's what I believe. When you meet up with an obstacle, ask Swami first. What am I going to do, Swami? I know you've put this in front of me, so help me to see what I can do. He's the doer of everything. He does this for us. Always testing, testing, testing. Are you awake? Are you awake to everything? Especially things that you see people suffering. It's there for you. If you see it, it's up to you to see what you can do. Because who put you there to see it? The divinity within you. So what are you going to do about it? If you do nothing, what does Baba say? No marks for you. I've had that said to me. No marks for you. It was exactly the same as somebody's German shepherd. Never forget that. I'll tell you who it is. It was Marta. Her husband used to have German shepherds, but they bred them, or something. And one stray dog went to have a drink of water. And what did Marta Betty do? She picked up the hose and went shoo, 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 Imagine her shock when he went to her and he said, no marks for you, Betty. Oh, Swami, why? I come to your house as a German shepherd dog and you shoo me away? All I wanted was a drink of water. True. What did he say that for? For the likes of us to learn that he is in everything. A dog, anything. And that was in 1984. I'd like to read to you a little portion on fate. This was our lesson on Wednesday night. This is Baba again. Creation has no predetermined limits. It is an eternal process whose beginning or end cannot be known. In the process of birth, growth and dissolution, besides the will of the Lord, the role of human effort can also be recognized to a certain extent. Man's destiny is determined by the nature of his actions, thoughts and desires. All right? God is not involved in either reward or punishment. He only reflects, resounds and reacts. He is the eternal, unaffected witness. You decide your own fate. Do good, be good. You get good in return. Be bad, do bad deeds, you receive bad results. Do not thank or blame God. He does not even will that creation, protection and destruction shall take place. They follow the same law, the innate law of the Maya-ridden universe. You see, when I had this in our studies, it was so deep that we spent all night with this one. You were born for your own sakes, not for the sake of anyone else. You have to cure yourself of the disease of ignorance, just as you have to cure yourself of the disease of hunger. No one else can save you from both. Why do untoward events take place? Only to promote what is good. They have a cleansing effect. Rise and fall are natural events. When any such event takes place in relation to the divine, it must be regarded as the prelude to something elevating and sublime. One is born to work out one's destiny. One is born to serve out one's sentence. When that ends, one is free. You know, those are God's words. And they're worth thinking about, you know. I know we did when we read it. We have such a learning point. We do. And every little thing that we say and do is something that we must think about first before we talk. And boy, am I pleased I've got the best out of this. Because I wouldn't turn my way, wouldn't change for anything. I live on my own in my little place. And I sing to him, I talk to him. I'm sure people think I've got people in the house, but no, I'm talking to Swami. Talk to him freely, you know. Get up. Good morning, Swami. Thank you for a lovely night. Thank you for a peaceful night, you know. I know you're there. Can't live any other way. When you reach my age, you can't. And that's all there is to it. And I like to voice that to everybody that listens to this video. Remember that God loves us all. He's there in our hearts. You know, and he gives way up to a point, you know, I can be naughty too at times. You know, I can be naughty. We can all be naughty. But then there's a little inner voice says, come on back, come on back. Don't go there, or whatever it is I do. You know, and I laugh and I say, Swami, I will never leave you. Never leave you. But the human nature takes over sometimes, which sometimes could be very silly. I must talk to you about the monkey. Now that was in 1981 as well. Well, we spent 2 months in 1981 with Baba, and the first month we were in Puttapati. Now he called New Zealand for an interview. Then he told us that he was going to Brindavan and that he will arrange a bus for New Zealand to come over with him, which he did. And over to Brindavan we went. We didn't know where Brindavan was then, but we got there about midnight and all settled for the night. Well, the next day, my husband and I, and Mata Betty, or quite a few of us, we bought some corn. And somebody told us that there was a nice fellow down by the bus shed that had a fire with embers. And he was specially there for us to put our corn on there, you know, and cook it. So we decided that that's what we'd do. And on the way, I decided to buy 6 bananas. And we were sitting in the shelter shed, you see, and I was eating this banana, waiting for our corn to be cooked. And believe it or believe it not, a monkey came down and landed on me here, you know. Well, there was a scream from the other people, the locals. Get that monkey off. I said, leave it alone. And it opened my mouth and took what banana I had. And he took the banana off my hand, and I had my hand then, and I had my hand behind his head, you see. And I'm saying, what lovely eyes you've got, see. And he was busy eating my bananas, and then he picked the bananas out of my packet and, you know, and ate away there. And I still held on to this monkey like this. And I was talking to it. I said, I think I know who you are. I think I know who you are. I said, well, I'm not scared of you. And everybody's saying, push him off. I said, I'm not scared of you. In fact, you've got lovely eyes. And this is how I was talking to it. Then it flew away. Well, it jumped off when all my bananas had gone, you see. Well, a lot of people said you shouldn't do that because they're dangerous and they're this, they'll scratch. I said, well, they didn't scratch me. But I felt as if there was something with that monkey, you see. Okay, every night we would go where the students have their bhajans. New Zealand was allowed to go there every night. Baba made sure of that. So in we went and we were put right in front, you see. And Swami came along, and first of all, there was me, Mata Betty, and Kathy Spooner, all in front. And he wriggled his toes like that. And we're looking down, you see, and I'm dying to touch those feet. But our tour leader told us not to touch those feet. You must not touch his feet unless he asks you to do that. And we knew this, so we kept our hands, but I was dying to, he was teasing us, you see. Anyway, we never touched his feet. Then he walked away. Then he stopped and he walked right back to me again, to us. And he looked at me and he said, "I love bananas," and walked off. True. I love bananas, and walked off. And Martha Beatty's going like this. She said, that was him. And I said, yeah, I thought that. Because those eyes of that monkey was just so beautiful, you know. And I kept on saying to it, the monkey, "You've got beautiful eyes, and I think I know who you are." That's what I said. I think I know who you are. And I was patting its head while it was eating my bananas, chewing away there with these beautiful eyes. I wasn't afraid of that monkey at all. And you see, he just went away and then he came back. He said, "I loved bananas," and just turned and walked out as if to say, "Put that in your pipe and smoke it." And I was so taken by it. So that was in Brindavan in 1981. You see, and the next time I went was in 1984. That was to complain about the healer. That's another thing I would like to say. Baba said, there's no such person as a healer. They're only money grabbing. I am the only healer. If you want healing, you call me. You call me. Now I'm pleased to be able to tell you that. There's no other healer. And Marta and I, and those ones that went that time, we never ever bothered with healers again. Never. So there's something that I would like to tell you, and that was Baba himself. Now, we were so upset. He knew all about the problems in New Zealand with this person that I'm talking about. He said, "You leave him to me. If you want to talk about anybody, you talk about me. I'm God." Then he looked so piercingly at me and he says, "And I am God." Like that. It was penetrating and piercing, that was. So whatever doubt I had in my mind then, and he knows me better than I know myself, it had all gone then. I've heard him with other people in there as well. He mothers us, mothers everybody. What did he say? Oh, I took my book, that Treasured Memories. I said to Marta Betty, I'm going to take this for Barbara to bless. It's only a tiny little book, but I'd like his blessings. That's the book. So I handed it to him, and I said, Barbara, would you bless that for me, please? Yes. And he reads passages in it, like he does, you see. Then he puts it down. And then we have the interview, and everybody gets up, and I said, Swami, can I have my book back, please? And he says, no, I walked away. Well, that was the nicest message I ever heard from him. Fancy Swami having my book. And of course that other one, the script was kept by him as well, you see. Just saying to them while we were mealing, I got the biggest shock of my life when I sit down and talk about the experiences I've had and the road I've travelled, you don't think, day in and day out, you don't give it a thought. You do these things and that's it. You help yourself to do things like that. But when you sit down and reflect on what you've done, you get a shock. You realise you've come a long way. And you realise that you've gone further than what you thought you would. you know. I've got even stronger since my husband passed on. He was the backbone, really. He was the first one out of the two of us that knew Swami. And I think it was sort of through him that I have carried it the way I have. I suppose so. I like to say that. That's one of his last words he ever said to me. Don't you ever forget Baba, Mum. I said, I won't. Well, don't you ever. You know who he is. You know what he is. And those are one of the last things he ever said to me. Oh, he just said to me too, look after our home, because when I get better I'll be coming back. And I said, I know you will. Well, the home he went to wasn't my home. It was God's home he went to, you see. It is you who is in my lonely heart. That one. Stay with me, oh Sai, my only love. Without you, my life will fall apart. Please guide me, oh Sai, my only love. All my words in life and the ones in my past as well, please forgive me, Lord. In my life I no more will dwell. You are life in me, all my joys and sorrows too. You are my heart, please always love me. Sai, my only love. Sai, my only love.